Well, a man that knows an awful lot about the inner workings of the NHS is Professor Karol Sikora, consultant oncologist, good friend of the station as well. Karol, very good morning to you. Welcome.
Morning, Mike.
Good to see you, and
It's,
welcome to the new Morning Glory show.
thank you. Thank you.
Very good to talk to you. You've been quite active on Twitter lately, talking about terrible things going on inside the NHS, wastes of money on ridiculous jobs for, diversity chiefs and diversity leaders and net zero coordinators and all of that. The Labour Party say they can fix the backlog because they've done it once before. I'm not sure I've got much faith in that. Have you?
Not really. I mean, politicians of both sides, they love the number 40. You know, the Conservatives wanted to build 40 new hospitals.
Right.
Take me to one of them, please. You know, just take me to any one of them. There
Yeah.
is nothing
Right.
new in the NHS.
Mm.
And now, Keir Starmer's group, they want to find 40,000 new appointments. Again, 40.
Mm.
Now, how are you going to do it? Where do you get the staff to do these appointments?
Right.
That's the problem. Now, it can be done, and I'll tell you why. Streeting is good. I can see he's committed to the NHS.
Yeah.
He's committed to doing something. He's got to admit, and he has admitted, it's wrong. And that's the problem the Conservatives will never do. He at least has said, it's not a shrine.
Mm.
We've got to do something about it. So that's the
Yes.
first good point. The trouble is, how do you go about it? You know, Mike, it can be done. We saw it with the vaccine program for
Yeah.
COVID. Just imagine how that was rolled out. Sure, it cost billions,
Mm.
but it was rolled out fantastically all over the country. It can be done, but it requires concerted effort.
And
We
how
can
did they manage that in terms of, the things that they're saying at the moment is, look, we're going to get people back working at weekends, we're going to get people working at night, working through the 24-hour cycle. If that's what they did during that vaccination rollout, how did they pay for that?
They paid overtime. That's
Yeah.
the only way you can get rid of it. No time to train new staff, no time to import new staff. You've got to use existing staff, existing equipment, and you've got to make it work 24/7.
Yeah.
And patients don't mind. If I had to have a CT scan, I say you can have it tomorrow, but 10 o'clock at night. Would you rather do that or wait 6 weeks for it? Of
Right.
course you go at 10 o'clock. There's
Right.
no traffic. You can park your car. It's easy to get there. Much, much better to do things in the evening. Hospital car parks are empty on a Sunday, on the whole. You just drive in and they're completely empty.
Yeah. And
This is
so is
wrong.
most of the hospital as well, by the way.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. We've got to use the expensive in my business where we use radiotherapy. These machines are 5 million a piece.
Yeah.
Just sitting idle for 2 days. This is completely wrong.
Right.
Sure, it's incentivizing the staff to look at a task they do, and that's part of the problem. You've got a whole bunch of anonymous bureaucratic managers that are being paid over 100K for shuffling bits of paper
Yeah.
with paper clips and troubling people that are at the front line. We've got to stop that.
Yes.
That's what's rotten about it.
Yes, indeed. But it's almost like a sea change that has to happen. It's not anymore. I mean, apart from the fact that the Labour Party said they're going to get £1.3 billion from recalcitrant taxpayers. I don't know how that's going to work. It's not just about the money, is it? They've got to change the culture. I mean, for example, I was saying to Martin Gower a little bit earlier on in the show, why should NHS workers expect to make more money because they're working at the weekend instead of during the week? Many people work
I
at the
know.
weekend. They don't get paid extra for it. Why should they?
No, and airline pilots fly planes through the night. Why not? So why not have consultants on call at night? They are on call, but they're not in the hospital.
Right.
We've got to use the facilities and the staff much better. And the key is to have management of specific tasks. So in my business, managing a chemotherapy unit, managing a radiotherapy unit with someone that actually has some expertise in that area, not an anonymous sort of cancer services manager, for example, that's got a degree in public relations or something, and comes through the NHS graduate training scheme and
Right.
knows nothing about the task in hand.
No, I think that's absolutely right. And of course, they've got to get better, and you've said this many times, at not just the first appointment, but the secondary reference and the secondary referral, because we've got, I believe, something like 10 million people on a further waiting list beyond the sort of 7.5 million. There's another 10 million waiting for a secondary appointment.
You're right. It's like Heathrow on a bank holiday. You know,
Yeah.
you've got a series of queues. You get through one, you join another queue. This is not how it should be. We're in a computer age. You can, on your phone, you can book a whole series of appointments very quickly, ideally the same day. So you come at 9 o'clock, and by midday, you're out of there having had 3 or 4 different investigations, and you're on the way to see
Mm.
a consultant that's going to give you a treatment plan. That's how it should be. And it doesn't cost more once you've got it organized. Sure, it costs to get to that point, but you know, it's all in the IT. The IT is just hopeless in the NHS. It's primitive.
Yeah.
It's a whole lot of disparate systems that don't even talk to each other. The GP uses one, the hospitals use their own, the imaging department uses it, pathology uses another system. This is no good. And you know, it was Fujitsu that tried to rationalize it more than a decade ago,
Right.
charged £10 billion, and there was nothing to show for it.
No.
It's a
Another
terrible situation.
Fujitsu disaster. Absolutely right. Professor Karol Sikora, thank you very much indeed. Good to talk to you.